Welcome to As Above.
So below.
I'm Kisha Lee, the Psychic Yogi.
And I'm Cidnee Rich, and this is Mystic Moon and the summer solstice. We're having a collaboration here today. So full moon in Capricorn coming up this weekend, as we just now have entered Cancer season as well, and thus the summer solstice is upon us, which is super exciting. Solstice energy is really that it's like it's the big ta-da to me, like, right? Our equinoxes are like our little starters or like our finishers, and then the solstice is like this big, like, this is the season of change or culmination or whatever. It kind of reminds me of like fixed versus mutable energy or cardinal energy. The solstice feels really interesting because it gives us this understanding of what we are shining light on, where we're maybe close turning the light off on certain things, especially when we have like the winter solstice. So it's like this very like aware situation, right? With the sun, like we're very aware of what is going on in our lives. I feel like around solstice energy, with it being correlated with the sun and how much light it is giving us. And so with the summer solstice, we're gaining all of this light. And with that light, we're able to see our path more clearly so we can move forward, which is what the Cancer energy is all about. It's cardinal water sign. It is our forward movement energy since Aries season. And so it's all about, okay, we started a certain path or a certain journey or certain routines or certain ideas or passions with Aries season. And now we've gone through a few seasons and now we're in this new cardinal energy. And so emotionally, with Cancer being a water sign, we're trying to figure out where we're going with it. And so with this full moon kind of butting up against the solstice, it's like we're having this double illumination on our path right now. So the solstice is helping us see more, and the full moon, in all its glory, is helping us see where we have accomplished things, where things need adjustment potentially, so we can continue to accomplish what we're doing. And I think that's really interesting because Kisha and I just had a whole conversation, and that's exactly what we were just talking about. It's like, great, these things are working, and these things we need to adjust in order for us to continue to move forward. And with that forward momentum that Cardinal Capricorn and Cardinal Cancer give us, it's like it does have this air of seriousness to it, right? It's a Capricorn moon, it's not a sign that you take lightly, but it's a sign that gives you so much if you use it to your advantage. If you take the time to get some structure going, if you take some time to be like Daddy Saturn and say, hey, this is what we need to do. This is what we need to get done. And although we had some fun in Gemini season and we got to play around, if we want to keep moving forward, we have to do some structure analysis and see what needs to be reinforced, see what needs to maybe be implemented, and maybe see what needs to go, what we need to release. So I feel like this strawberry Capricorn moon is really helping us sure up our structure, for our creativity and our ideas and the things that we started in Aries season. And now with Cancer energy that we're nurturing, right? We want it to grow. We want things to continue to be abundant. Capricorn is all about what we are making so that we have it and that we for a long time. And that's why it's like, okay, if we know we want something, sometimes we're going to have to do some things to get it. And that's that energy of this full moon, like really looking at what's working, what's not, so that we can stay the path, stay the course, and actually be able to move forward in a way that gets us to where we're going. And with us going into this, with the summer solstice, we have a lot of Cancer energy. that is ushering us in. Okay, Mercury's in Cancer, Venus is in Cancer, and so the sun's now in Cancer, and so now we're having to ride that emotional wave, but looking at it as, how is that emotion being, um how are we experiencing that emotion in our everyday life, in the structure of our life? What is causing us stress? What is causing us ease? What is causing us to feel like we're not doing enough? Where are we feeling like we're doing the most? And so we use our emotions, like Kisha always says, to give us feedback. And so with this full moon, our emotions might be really heightened right now about the structure of our lives and where we need to do some things differently or what's working. And so instead of being overwhelmed by the emotion that we're feeling, alchemizing Cancer energy in a beneficial way is taking that emotion and using it to move forward with determination and clarity about what it is that you care about, the moon, right? The Cancer energy, and what it is that you're trying to create, which is also that feminine energy of Capricorn, and bring it into the reality, right? With the earth energy of Capricorn. So the full moon feels very a little button up, but also a little very nurturing. It's that mother energy, the both aspects of it. You got the, oh, you fell down, let me give you a hug, Cancer energy. And then you have the Capricorn energy that's like, okay, great. So what are you going to do next time so you don't fall down again? Like, that's kind of the energy of this full moon. It's like, okay, it's okay to know that you need something, right? Cancer is very, what do you need? And a lot of times that word, when we're like manifesting, I know we're not supposed to use it, but it's like it's a that's what Cancer energy is. A mother is there for its child to give it what it needs. There are certain things that we need. We do need it. And yes, the frequency of that word sometimes is looked at as like lack, but it's also like what is needed to sustain you. So summer is all about that growth. And that's what we're doing right now. We're growing, and we're like hopefully finding all that abundance around us, like we see in nature right now, and all the bugs that come out, and all the life that we see. We're seeing this abundance around us, and that's beautiful. I lost my train of thought, but I was talking about need. So, but it's like, okay, well, what does that need in order to survive? Well, it needs to rain, right? We need to have summer storms so that like the trees and the plants continue to like get their nourishment. And that is, I think it's interesting now that we're talking about this in a way to like look at the word need. Because I feel like I beat myself up about using it because I'm like, oh, it's lack. But it's like, no, like a plant needs water. Like the fact that it needs water doesn't make it lacking. It's just saying like I need that to nourish me. It's like it's important for me. Like it is necessary, right? So a need can be a necessity. So looking at it that way maybe is a more high frequency word, and has a more like soothing or more positive kind of energy to it. So what's necessary for us to continue to thrive and continue to be on the path of the direction that we set out for ourselves at the beginning of this astrological new year. So I'm excited. I feel like with the strawberry moon, it still has a very like lovey, kind of soft, very whimsical energy too. So even with it being this Saturnian energy, remember Saturn's in Pisces right now. So it is in itself this kind of ethereal energy that it's usually doesn't get to take part in, right? It's serious. It's the Capricorn energy, it's the Aquarius energy. So now it's in this Pisces energy, which it doesn't like to be in, but it's getting to know itself in a different way. So I think the full moon also is like a representation of that, like getting to know other aspects of yourself, whether that be where you might need your emotional necessities or your structural necessities, like so you can really make things happen, Captain, and get what it is that you're trying to get out of this phase in your life, your entirety of your life. You know, that's what we're doing here. We're trying to just continue to grow. And summer's all about that growth. And so when we get to the fall time, we can reap what we have sown, and we can really harvest all that abundance. Sweet. So I did do a poll earlier today, which was really cool, but I do want to do a live poll, but I'll talk about the one that I got. And one of the messages there, this is for I guess I'll do a full moon pool. This was a summer solstice pool. So the summer solstice pool was 3 of Cups, which I love. 3 of Cups is about community. It's about your soul tribe. It's about connection. It's about an exchange of ideas and creativity and feeling supported. So the summer giving us that container of like connection, because it just elicits that energy, right? It's hot. We can be outside. We can hang. We have more daytime. And then we had the star, which you guys know by now probably is my favorite card. And the star is that Aquarius future-oriented energy where we're going. And it's a reminder that summer solstice is saying we're in alignment. You know, the sun is a star. And for the star to come out, it's saying like we're where we're supposed to be, even if there's some structural changes that need to happen, or some shoring up of our necessities so we can continue on this path. We are nonetheless in alignment. And what makes it even cooler is it's crossed by the 6 of Wands, which is the card of victory. So literally we're in victorious alignment. Even if it doesn't feel like it necessarily, we are where we're supposed to be. And the last 2 messages that came out for the summer solstice is the 5 of Cups reverse, which is finally the sense of renewal. A 5 of Cups reverse is like you're releasing the sadness or the disappointments. And you're realizing, like I said, the star, I am where I'm supposed to be. You know, I just had to remember the support systems that I had, or the community that I have, you know, so I can continue to grow. And the Chariot was the last message, which is just blew my mind off. Cancer season. The Chariot is the Cancer energy. So we really are moving forward. And as we move forward, success is inevitable. That's what the Chariot all talks about. It's about movement. And as you move and choose that path that we chose potentially during Gemini season, right? We got more clear about what we were curious about, and we got to explore different things. So now we're like, yeah, this is what I want to do. As you make that choice, the Chariot is what takes you there, right? It's the vehicle, literally, the Chariot's a vehicle. It is the ride that you get on to get to where you get to experience some things that you've been really working on, and being able to be seen, or Leo season, for the hard work that you've been doing. So that was the solstice energy. So the summer, I think, is going to give us a lot of forward movement, a lot of aligned messages and confirmations, as well as us continuing to connect with our community and other people that dig us, and finding that sense of fresh energy, you know, a fresh start, or that things are actually growing, right? Oh, sorry. Okay, and then for the full moon in Capricorn, that's helping us with our structure. We have Capricorn energy. It's funny. So the 4 of Pentacles is Capricorn energy, and it's all about security. So she's clutching her little purse here. It's about security. So this full moon, like we talked about, is asking us, where do we need to shore up our foundation so that we can not feel anxious or worried about the choices that we made, because this is being crossed by the Queen of Cups, which is that Cancer energy. So allowing our emotions with this full moon to help light our way, to help guide us so that we're not feeling anxious about where we're going, because we may not exactly know yet. Page of Swords, we're still on this journey. We're still discovering everything, but we can take a moment to trust our emotions, to give us feedback to where we may need to double down on some things, reinforce our barricades, give up some things that are weighing us down, so we can continue exploring and moving forward with our ideas, our relationships, and ultimately, you know, our soul's growth.
Mhm. Speaking of structure and the mother, I guess there's some little ones running outside my door, and I'm thinking, as a mother, it's kind of late in the evening. Why are they in bed? So yeah, I think I like this energy right now, especially from an elemental standpoint, because the keywords that you said that really stood out were fresh start. And for the last week, that has been my mantra. Go figure. I've been telling myself I have permission to have a fresh start in my finances, my relationship to finances or money, and prosperity. I give myself permission to have a fresh start in my intimate personal relationships. I give myself a fresh start in how I choose to show up in the world and lead in the world. I give myself a fresh start in how I want to create structures in my health, because I'm worthy of good health. And so it's interesting because I've literally gave myself a fresh start in pretty much every area of my life. And in order to do that, I had to look at what I've already harvested and then what no longer serves me, and how I can take that and compost that for fertile soil so that I can plant seeds for my next harvest, right? And so if we're looking at things from an elemental perspective and from that of a feminine perspective, it's that finding that right combination of earth, which would be the Capricorn full moon, and then you need water, which would be Cancerian energy, but then you also need the sun, right, for that nourishment as well. So we have the summer solstice. And so to me, this is a good opportunity to take a bigger look at a bigger picture for the garden of wealth that you are cultivating in your life. Okay, does the container, is it too big? And I wouldn't even say too big, but is there empty space in that container, right? What do you want to put in there? What do you want to fill that with? What do you want it to produce? Okay, and then also in that container, does it need to be tended to? Does it need to be upkept? Is there something that's what do you call it, compromising the structure of it, right? So like if you think of like a garden, you get rabbits and little squirrels and other little critters that come in there and start eating your fruits and vegetables that you're growing. And so maybe there's like a hole or something that needs to be patched up. Maybe it just, instead of being wood and it eventually will kind of rot or become weak, maybe you need something stronger depending on what the outside, the external is presenting. And so to me, this is one of those opportunities to really look at what it is that you are wanting to grow. What things have overgrown to the point where you can't even see the growth of the things that you have planted. Some things that have gotten too much attention. Okay, and it's time to bring out the weed whacker and just cut them things out. All right, so that you can actually tend to the things that matter the most, right? And I feel like, being that the sun with the summer solstice and celebrating this full moon in Capricorn, to me, it's really about identifying what both of are about illumination, but they illuminate different things, right? The sun brings warmth. It's the things that feel good, and it helps you to see things in a different way, versus a full moon is a little bit or a lot more introspective, right? There's always a part of it that's always still hidden. And so it's an opportunity to look at, okay, what things are coming to light. But with the sun also representing strength, it's a good opportunity to say, what things are coming to light as my strengths? What are some things that are going good in my life? The things that are strong at, right? And then where are, as far as like the moon, where are some areas of refinement, some areas where I can improve things? Maybe I need to implement stronger structures or boundaries, or maybe I need to refine certain skill sets. Maybe I do need to cultivate a stronger sense of community, or be able to leverage that so that I can really grow what it is. Well, it can hold, right? That container of my community can hold what it is that I want it to, right? And so that creativity can flow more freely, and I know specifically what it is that I truly desire. And when it comes into what we desire, Cidnee, you were talking about needs versus wants, and I would like to break that down, because when you look at, the word need, yes, sometimes it gets a bad rap. However, at the end of the day, on the most fundamental level, that's what needs are, especially if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? You need food, you need shelter, okay? You need a place, you need sleep. You need to move your body. There are certain things that you need on a very fundamental level. Love and connection and intimacy is some of those things. All right. So don't deprive yourself of having that sense of community and also emotional fulfillment, because if you deprive yourself of that, it's going to be a lot harder for you to create a strong, stable foundation to start attracting what it is that you really want. And the culmination of needs on a fundamental level versus your wants, which is more autonomous and individualized, the two together come into a place of balance and harmony. And that is where your deepest yearnings and your desires come from. Okay. Because if you ever look at what it is that you truly desire on a soul level, what it is that you truly yearn for, it is a combination of those two things. Like for me, when it comes down to relationships, I notice that on a fundamental level, or just what I need and what I want, same thing to me at this point. It's intimacy and connection, right? So that is something that's a need. We need a sense of community. We need to connect with others, but it is also a desire. But how do I want that to show up, right? It's consistency. It's something that needs to be tended to. And if the structures don't support that, then I have to uproot some stuff, right? I gotta like pull out the weeds. It's just taking up space that can be used to fertilize other things that are better, that help to bring more vibrancy to my life. And I like to look at vibrancy as more feminine and vitality as masculine. And I associate that with those two different archetypes just because when we think of health and vitality, it's a lot of action, a lot of producing. Vitality is very closely related to virility, which is men and their sperm production. And it's also very Aries-like, which is masculine energy as well. And then vibrancy is more of that colorful essence, right? It gives life a little bit of texture. And it helps us to see things in a different way. It helps give life more depth when we understand the difference between what just helps us to have vitality, which would be our needs, and what gives us vibrancy and texture in life, brings life color, and that would be our wants, our personal desires, and our yearnings. And so when I put all of this together, right? You look at the richness that Mother Earth provides, regardless of what we may see on the media, there's still a part of Earth that is producing, diamonds and lush jungles and exotic flowers and the things that we can't even, like, how are us and whales and like cockroaches? How the hell do we all coexist? Like, there's so much texture, so much vibrancy, so many different compartmentalizations of life and the different expressions, but we all call it Earth, and it's all nurtured by Mother Earth, as well as the element of water, right? When we go to other places, well, it ain't like I've been to Mars. I ain't looking for water on Mars, but I will look for water on Venus, however, as a Libra. But with that being said, we need the structures of Earth, but we also need the nourishment of water, right? And we need the illumination, the warmth of sun to really help us to cultivate not only a growth path, but I don't know, I guess I like to say like a garden of wealth, right? And so that we can have a greater sense of fulfillment, so that there can be more intentionality. There can be more purpose in our actions. There can be more prosperity, and we can also bask in the light and the essence and the fragrance of pleasure that's around us. So that kind of whole, stop and smell the roses type of thing. We can actually, in order for us to have roses, we have to have all three of those things. You need some water, you need some soil, you need some sunlight. Okay, so just like a plant, okay, I need y'all to make like a plant and have all those three things, meaning aligning yourself with what it is that you emotionally yearn for, not in the head space. We're getting out of Aries season. We're getting out the head space, which is more linear, more masculine, what I think I should, would, could, and this is, strategizing and all that planning and stuff. That's great for creating finite structures. But we also need to bring in this emotional desire and yearning element, so that on a soul level, we also are in our autonomy and know what is going to fulfill us in that way. Because believe me, I know a lot of rich people that are unhappy. They got all the material possessions, but emotionally are not fulfilled. So when we take in this holy trinity of energy at this time, we need to give ourselves permission to identify what our emotional needs are and what can support that, creating the structure of the earth energy of Capricorn, right? And then allowing ourselves also to connect with a higher power, a divine intelligence, and the illumination of who we truly are, so that we can not only become self-realized, but also actualize that as above, so below. And remember that we are not just spiritual beings having a human experience, we're also human beings having a spiritual experience. Okay, so give yourself permission to have a fresh start by shifting your perspective, tuning into what you need emotionally, the structures that you need to put in place to support that, and then allowing the illumination of that that I guess collaboration, or that harmonization, to show you a path forward towards your truest destiny, towards what brings you ultimate joy, happiness, fulfillment, like the sun.
Yes, gorge. Beautiful. Well, remember, y'all, wear your sunblock. Because the sun is beautiful, but it can burn you. So make sure you keep your balance as well with you through your emotional space over this Cancer energy. We will be talking about Cancer energy more on Monday when we do Astro Reiki. So catch us there. And yes, blessed full moon, release, relax, do things, it's also high energy time. So just be mindful that there's lots of movement going on this weekend with that energy. And we will see you guys for Astro Reiki on Monday. And remember, if you want to hang out with us with our meditations that Miss Kisha facilitates beautifully and often ends in tears of ascension, and light bulb moments of enlightenment and just real shifts in your consciousness, please feel free to join our Patreon. We have multiple tiers. If you just want to sign up for the Patreon, you can have access to our new moon meditations that we give access for everybody over there. And aside from that, like, share, comment, and all that good stuff. And we will see you guys next time.